Listen to the podcast. Just search for Hancock and Kelley.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden were at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware for the return of 3 U.S. soldiers killed in a drone attack in Jordan. Hours later, the United States carried out airstrikes on dozens of targets in Iraq and Syria, and then this morning, airstrikes resumed on targets in Yemen. All of this in response to that drone strike in Jordan at the hands of an Iran-backed militia group. Along with the 3 U.S. service members killed in that one, more than 40 were injured. The president says Iran has facilitated attacks against U.S. assets in Jordan, Syria, and Saudi Arabia, as well as in the Red Sea for months. John, the president notably has not ordered airstrikes on Iranian soil.
Yeah. And
we need to go after Iran?
Well, here's what we know. There's been hundreds of these attacks by the Houthis and others on U.S. military installations. Usually we've been able to eradicate the drones that are flying over, but we didn't this time. Americans died. It's clear that what we have done militarily has not been a deterrent to the Houthis and certainly Iran. And if this wave doesn't accomplish that fact, I don't know that there's any other alternative than to go into Iran. And there you're running a real risk of escalating that conflict, which Biden doesn't want to do. But if you're not going to be strong, the only thing these Iranians understand is strength. And if we don't show strength, we're going to keep losing our service members.
It's a tightrope.
Yeah.
Should we bomb Iran? I mean,
No,
I think that's what we're getting.
We potentially,
eventually.
Right now we have a boiling pot that's about to boil over. Fortunately, we have a president who is methodical, who is showing strength, and who's using rational thought to try to avert what potentially could be World War III. Hopefully, we will be able to contain this, but grateful that we have President Biden and not an unhinged President Trump.
Well, former President Donald Trump scored a victory in Illinois in the past week. A small group of voters have sought to have him removed from the state primary ballot. That's been going on in a lot of states. They cite the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol and a constitutional ban on running for president if you were involved in an insurrection. The state election board in Illinois, made up of 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans, in a unanimous decision decided they did not have the authority to remove Donald Trump from the primary ballot. The U.S. Supreme Court is set to take up this issue this week after the Colorado State Supreme Court ruled Trump could be removed from the primary ballot there. Michael, should states be able to tear his name from the ballot?
I don't know. I'm not a legal and constitutional professional. I would have voted the same way in Illinois. Donald Trump's not going to win Illinois. I don't think we ought to be playing politics, pulling people's names off the ballot. I don't understand why voters would even want to vote for Donald Trump. I think Democrats should be focusing their energy and time on that rather than doing all those legal maturations.
You can't parse the words of the 14th Amendment. It's pretty clear. If you're involved in an insurrection, you can't run.
Well,
is Donald Trump involved in an insurrection?
There's a couple of nuances in there. The word officer is in there. Was the president an officer? That's never been really adjudicated. I suspect the Supreme Court is going to say Donald Trump stays on the ballot. It would be shocking if they rule otherwise, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Still to come on Hancock and Kelley, are Republicans coming unglued over Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? Also, the passing of the first woman from Missouri to serve in the U.S. Senate. Our quote of the week reminds us just how much we've lost in American politics.